The first time I understood that someone outside of my immediate family really cared for me, I was about 7 years old. It was my friend Rigel. He was so sweet. He had this like fluffy white hair, a warm smile. He was always carrying this teddy bear that smelled a little bit like soup, but like in a very good way. I had fallen off the monkey bars at recess one day, and I was a mess. Like my knee was bleeding. There were 3 teachers trying to patch me up. I was crying. I was inconsolable until Rigel came over, and he gave me his bear to hold, and he sat down next to me, and I thought, oh, like, this is what it feels like to have someone really care for you. This is what it feels like that someone will be there for the fun things and the hard things, and I'm gonna have this person with me for the rest of my life. And then he moved away, and I never saw him again. Like, I was 7, I had no agency over this at all, so I just missed him so much, and I had no way to get in touch with him. This is a million years ago, and I just thought, I will never think of Rigel again and not be sad. And then eventually I could think of him and not be sad, and then eventually I could think of him and just be happy, and I still am really happy when I think about Rigel. I can still kind of remember the way the bear smelled. When I was 9, I met Julie. She lived up the street from me, and we were thick as thieves. Like, we were always running around her yard or my yard. We were constantly trying to figure out how to do a front flip from standing, which we did not figure out how to do. We did figure out some other stuff, though. We figured out that if we were in her room and we were playing quietly with the door closed, our parents could not come check on us. That is when we figured out how kissing worked. We got like very good at it. I got this idea from Julie that she did not think that we should tell her parents that we were kissing inside of her room, and she didn't think we should tell anyone that we were kissing inside of her room. And I'm like, that's cool, I can keep a secret. And then eventually she didn't want to kiss in her room anymore, and then she didn't want to try the front flips anymore, and then she just didn't want to hang out anymore. And that felt weird, because again, like I thought I had my forever person, and then I didn't have my forever person, but it's cool. I made other friends, and I learned how to do other things, and it was fine. In junior high, there was Jim. He was the skateboarder. He had a really bad haircut, and he was not the smartest person I've ever known, but he was sweet, and he held both of my hands while I tried to balance on his skateboard. In college, there was Marianne, and she was the first person who showed me that you can be so feminine and so masculine, and things in between and outside, all of those things at the same time. If you want to be, you can be whoever you want to be. In my late 20s, I got married to a man who was stable and dependable, and I learned that stable and dependable without a passionate relationship is not the comfort I need in this life. After my divorce, there was the forensic neuropsychologist who wowed me with her aptitude and her intelligence and all of her travels and all the cool things that she'd done. And I slowly learned that she had hated herself for her entire life. She hated herself so much that she could never love someone else, and eventually she hated me for trying to love her. There was the chronically underemployed mechanic who was really fun to hang out with until he started to blame me for these little things, and then these big things, and then these things that were problems like way before I ever got there, just all of the things. And like the common thread in all of these relationships is that, at least for a second, I thought I'd found my forever person, and then they ended and I felt like I had nothing. And I thought I had failed. But I don't want to think of my relationships like that. I don't want them to be these challenges or games that I win or lose and I either have everything or I have nothing. I just want them to be books that I read cover to cover. And some of them have been really long or short. Some have been hilarious. Some have traumatized me to the point of very intensive therapy. Some have changed my life. And some I hardly remember. But they've all mattered. Like, no one failed because they didn't last forever. They were all important. And the thing is, part of who I am, part of who I've always been, is that I am constantly reassessing and reimagining and adjusting who I am. And I wonder if it's a lot to ask one person to love every part of me for all of those years. Like, maybe I'm not supposed to have one forever person. Maybe I'll have different partners for the different phases of my life, and maybe I'll love them for different parts of their life, and maybe that can be its own kind of beauty and abundance. Maybe that can be enough. Now, I was the kind of kid, and I'm the kind of grown-up who looks for signs from the universe. Like, I look for lucky pennies on the ground, and I wish on stars, and I wanted some great sign that I was on the right track with this, right? And I waited for a lucky star, and I did not get one. So like a very normal person, about 6 months ago, I Googled Rigel, my first forever friend from the band. He has a very sparse internet presence. He is living in New York. He has a little free library on his front lawn that he catalogs most obsessively. He still has really fuzzy hair, and he still has a really warm smile. There's not very many pictures of him, but there's a few with his friends in a bar, and there's one from June with a little pride flag on it, so he's at least an ally, and I think that's a good sign. And I know I'm reading a lot into just a few photos, but I think Rigel's doing okay. Like, I think Rigel has enough. And when I look around this one room that I'm in right now, I can count 4 or 5 people that I could call at 2 o'clock in the morning, and they would answer. And another handful who would at least call me back the next morning. And when I think about that, like, no, I don't have my forever partner, and I might not. That might not be in the cards for me, but I have enough. I have more than enough. I am so grateful for all of it. Thank you.